Earlier this summer, I started a new series here on the Depsterism channel called the Dusty News Network. This show features a variety of memes, comments, and posts that men and unfortunately some women too have made all over the internet that depict them as people whose minds just aren't quite right. The pencil isn't the sharpest, you know what I mean? And they have some very odd thinking processes and belief systems. So we discuss them on Friday nights and make appropriate fun of them. And I go through and explain some of the more sinister ones and the message that they're actually trying to communicate. It's very interesting. If you don't really know what you're looking for, you won't catch it. So I spend a little time explaining those things. So I use the term dusty a lot. There are people on this channel that come from all over the world, and they're not necessarily familiar with that lingo. So a young woman actually wrote and asked, Deb, can you explain what the term dusty means? She's from Norway. And she said that, she kind of gathers what it means, but she wasn't really sure. So I wanted to not only in this video just really give this is my interpretation, my explanation. And since I'm the one that uses the term the most out of anybody, I think I should be the one to define it. So when I talk about a dusty man, this is what I mean. This clown is dirty, nasty, crusted with ash, emotionally, mentally, and often physically as well. They're just dirty and nasty looking. These are people who need cleansing, like literally, literally, like hosed down or something. And figuratively, of course, speaking emotionally, mentally, they have a lot of baggage. They have some really weird, outdated ideas, mostly about women. And those things come into play in the things that they say and the things that they do. Now, if you reach double dusty status, your sole aspiration in life is to use women. Your goal in using women is to come up at her expense. You don't want to invest anything in her. You want to do as little as possible and give her as little as you can get away with, which is usually nothing. And then you have the nerve to turn around and want a woman's help on top of all of that. Dusties, you will find, often live with their mother, who is like super codependent and treats them like a child, even though they may be in their 40s. If he doesn't live with his actual mama or grandmother, something like that, then he lives with some woman who treats him like a child. She takes care of him, gives him money. He sits on the couch playing video games or talking about what he gonna do, should do, wanna, coulda, woulda, shoulda, all that stuff. He ready to start a business. He gonna do all this stuff, but he don't actually do nothing. Dusties love to blame shift to women. Anything that they do or don't do, anything that fails for them, just any aspect of their life really at all, somehow it's the fault of some woman. They never own up to responsibility for anything. They are the most excuse-making, responsibility-dodging fools you have ever met in your life. So when you come right down to it, Dusties are of no value to women, either in or out of a relationship, because they're broke. They tend to be aggressive. They're very inconsistent. They're just vulgar, irresponsible, uncouth, and trifling. And as our visitor from Norway noted, she was talking about men who are dirtbags and losers. Dirtbags and losers to me are like a step or two down from a dusty. They're a milder form of being a dusty. Let's put it that way. So that is my definition of what a dusty is. And people say, well, dusties talk kind of crazy. Are they speaking a different language? In my mind, they're speaking what I call niggerese in a dusty dialect. Because they all say the same stupid stuff and they say it the same dumb way. And it's something that the rest of us who speak proper English do not comprehend. It's like, how in the world can you arrive at that conclusion from these material facts that are right in front of you? So it's kind of interesting how they put a spin on things, but that's my interpretation of it. So then I wanted to give you guys some examples, and these examples are pulled directly from the comment section on this channel. I did not have to go out looking for them. These are things that appeared on the channel right in our faces. They're, I don't know, I should have wrote down what video they're under, but I didn't. But let's just go over a couple of them. Now, this one young lady, she was sharing a story about how a male coworker that she thought was, kind of cool. He comes up to her and he says, get out there and make that money so we can both have it. And I was like, what? Why would you say something like that to a woman at work? And of course, black man saying this to black woman, it's like a pimp conversation. You know what I mean? It's like he's telling her to get on the corner. Okay, so most people like to think that men who are, because the brothers online, they be like, well, there's like good black men, and then there's thugs. They don't really seem to see the ones in the middle. So this guy would be one of the ones you would think anyway would be in the middle. He's, got a nice job. He works in an office and this and that. But one thing that I have found is that for some unknown reason, when black men get in corporate America, they just don't know how to control their mouths. They don't know how to control what they do and what they say. And they are always inappropriate with women in some way, shape, or form. And so this right here, see, this is essentially a sexual harassment charge. He's basically telling her to get herself, out there somewhere to make money for him like he's her pimp. That was, she young, and so she didn't really know any better. But were that me, I would have dragged his ass immediately into HR, told him what he did, how insulted I was, and how demeaned and degraded. And that's how traditionally they always want to think of black women as being some over-sexualized, practically an animal. And she can't even go to work and be professional on her job. Here comes some fool doing that to her at work. See, now I would have had to light him up. He would have got lit all the way up. And this other young lady says, she has no good double dusty uncles, and the mother spoiled him, and he got the mother paid a dowry for his wife that he doesn't even do anything for. So I don't know why he wanted to get married. I guess for the convenience of it all, but that's just how it is. This other guy, he said he's proud of being a dusty. He's like, I don't mind being rejected, and by the way, I'm a dusty, and I'm proud of it. And I'm like, wow, how in the world does that work? And another woman said she got ghosted by what she called a high quality man who was a doctor. And he ghosted her twice. And so, Dusties come in all kinds of professions. Just because somebody has what you would consider to be a high level, well-educated type of position where he had to study for years and years and do internships and do all this kind of stuff to get this position, that does not mean the dusty left him. It's still there. He just has these degrees and whatever on top of it. And then this young lady was mentioning how she was talking about that teacher-based thing her name is Patrice Brown, actually. And her pictures went viral, showed her in a classroom setting wearing this, more like a nightclub type of outfit than being appropriate for school. That was my opinion, because you don't really wear spandex tight dresses to school around children. That's really not appropriate attire. But she was saying how she didn't think it was, appropriate to teach children in. And this guy tells her it's never too young to start appreciating the female body. So in other words, it's never too young to start teaching little boys to objectify women. That's what he's saying. And I was just like, wow, I don't even know what to say. But these are just examples of the kinds of things that constitute a dusty man. And just for the record, Miss Brown is not a teacher. She is a teacher's aide, or like a classroom assistant. And she was talked to about her attire by the school, and some of those pictures she took them down, but of course this is the internet, they were all over the place already, so there's not too much you can do about it. But they do have an employee dress code, and she has, they say, been very cooperative in addressing her presence on social media accordingly. And that's the young lady here, points out, where are the habitats for Dusties. Do they have a habitat? Absolutely. Gas stations, street corners, alleyways, abandoned apartment complexes, and not to mention bus stops, train stations, even like I said earlier, on the job. It's like you can't escape them. They're in the grocery stores, they're everywhere. And they love to say inappropriate things and have this mentality that you, as a woman, need to do what they tell you to do. So if they bark out, you need to smile, and you say, fuck off, then they get upset. Now, you are a complete stranger. You don't know what happened in this woman's life, but suddenly you want to give her orders and have her bend to your will? Fuck out of here. What is wrong with you? Dusty. That's what's wrong with them. So these, some of the slides will just be sliding by, but I just wanted to kind of make my definition known so that we'd all be on the same page. It does seem like some people are somewhat confused. They don't really know when I'm talking about Dusties, we're talking about Dusties on this channel, what we mean. So I hope that is now very clear for everyone. If you're not already, please become a subscriber to the Deborrah channel and check me out on my new Instagram page at surviving.dating. I'm a follower over there. Some great memes and things that'll be going up on a pretty much daily basis. So you should enjoy that as well. Thank you for listening. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.